I think it kind of sums up a few things we've talked about. So the main thing for me is just time and allocating your time and being really smart about where you put your effort, because it is actually a lot of your value in the business is your time, and it's yeah, you can get it wrong very easily. So that's always really important, planning out what you're trying to achieve. And with that, I think does feed into the regulatory side a little bit. So ensuring that you understand the environment you're operating in, and probably the risks that are going to arise in the next sort of 5 to 10 years, which no one ever knows about, but we're definitely conscious of. If the compliance regulations do change, our product has to change as well. And that's going to be quite a brutal risk to our platform. Yeah, I mean, as I said, with the fundraising side, we've been trying to fundraise from day one, really, but in different ways. So just being smart about how you target and ensuring you know what you need to unlock the next stage of your business. So only the founders can know that. To be honest, you can get as much advice as possible, but really, it's up to understanding where you want to take it and what value this could well be. And that's really, really important. But yeah, I would definitely, as I said, plan before you go out and attack, and try, raise money. You need to be, sure of what you're doing and what money you need, because you can get the wrong money, which we almost did. We had a deal about 3 months ago, which wasn't really good terms, and we thought this was our only chance of raising money, and actually it wasn't. There were other chances, but we just didn't know that. So yeah, you just got to be conscious of what you need to unlock the next stage of your business.
The core advice I would give is to make sure that you understand your value proposition, the problem that you're solving, and the roadmap, the user journey throughout your solution. Then, as I mentioned, you have to ensure that agility is core to your solution there. You can have a great idea, a great execution, but if it's not dynamically agile with the speed to match that, it simply won't go very far. So understanding why, understanding having a strategy on the how, and I think one thing that we are very much so championing is this mission approach to capitalism, to operations, that you have a outcome oriented approach and develop the strategies in order to get there in an optimal capacity.
The advice would be that nowadays you would need to be very realistic in what you want to do. So it's not already the time when you actually come up with a great idea, you have no idea and how to implement that, and you go and do that idea. So now the market is very saturated, and you have to have a knowledge about that product to be successful, or know how to hire people who have that knowledge. That's a good experience as well, and a good tactic. And I would probably suggest never stop, because startup is unfortunately or fortunately, it's your life, it's your baby, and not many people are ready for that. I always joke that one day I was fed up with a 9-to-5 job, and I decided to open my own company, and now I work 24/7. So that's the way to proceed. And if the startup is ready for sleepless nights, a lot of problems they never dealt with, I remember my time at Bloomberg when, it's actually, if I had a legal problem, I was raising the ticket and sending that to the legal department. If I have the accounting problem with my client, I was sending that to the accounting department. But now I'm dealing with everything, I'm the one who is the lawyer, the accountant, and who is the person who is cleaning the office in the end of the day, So you need to be ready for that, and you need to kind of, if you had a very good background, being like investment banking in the past, and now you think that now I have the great idea and that's it. No, you have to scale down and understand that you are still great. You have a lot of knowledges, but there would be a lot of knowledges you have no idea of, and you have to discover that. So it's a tough life, I would say. And if the startup is prepared to actually dive into at least 2 years or 3 years of roller coaster, then it's for them. If not, then probably stick to 9-to-5 job and don't do that. That's my suggestion.
When it comes to startups, I think there's two important things that at least I ascribe to, and the one is kind of seeking excellence, not success. I think when you're thinking kind of longevity and long-term success, it's a lot more important to be operating very well and having a company that's running very well. Success in the sense of like, getting this one specific goal hit, getting a, featured in a certain publication, that's not what's going to give you long-term success. But if you're aiming for excellence, so operating very well with very good people and capable people, not cutting corners effectively, is the good strategy. And the other is just be relentless. If you've decided that you've picked a mission that's important to you, it's inevitable that you're just constantly going to have problems. So really, it's just about your attitude towards solving those problems and being relentless and believing that you're going to get past them. Sometimes that verges towards like, stupidity and naivety, but it is really hard to build a company. So I think you have to be able to just push through it endlessly, which is, maybe comes to my final piece of advice, which, maybe it's a survivor bias, but for me, I think having a co-founder is huge. Especially if it's your first company, having someone else to build it with just changes everything, both in how you develop, how you deal with the difficult days, and how you leverage networks. I think doing it solo, makes everything that is difficult a lot more difficult, especially if it's your first time around. Yeah.
Do your research would be definitely number one. I would consider myself to do this right most of the time, but in this case, I also took not enough time for it. Basically, 6 months before our fundraise, I just did research on how it is actually possible to launch a product like we want to do it. All the suppliers we need, all the licenses we need, all the regulations we have to follow and things like that. But until today, I'm finding out new things which I didn't know about. And it's very frustrating and very time consuming. But in the fintech field, this is how you will live for the next years. So do your research and find out everything. The next one would be find a good partner. And with partner, I mean, not just internal people, not just the founders, but also advisors who can advise in this direction, which is, in our case, it was really good that we found great people very early in the process, very early in our fundraise and in our research and everything. We just found great people who helped us understand and helped us create our product long before having all the information needed. So we were ahead of our time. They advised us on things we didn't even know exist and things like that. So finding great advisors and obviously also great co-founders is always a good thing. But especially in the fintech world, it's really important, I would say. And the third one is have a great technical team, because just creating a great product or the idea is not enough. Even if you follow all the regulations and the licenses, you have to execute at some point. and executing is just as important as everything else, otherwise you will not make it. So have in mind that you actually have to create a product later on.